Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley and this is Jackson. He is 5 weeks old as of yesterday, and today we are going to be talking about my labor and delivery with him. But instead of just sitting here and talking about it, I actually asked you guys to ask me questions over on my Instagram, which if you're not following me there, you should be. It is AshleyAmber_. But yeah, let's jump into the questions. So for the first question for this video, how bad did it hurt? I'm so terrified. I am definitely not the person to ask for this. I have a really high pain tolerance, and if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd rate it like a 4. Definitely not the worst pain I've experienced in my life. Did Dante cry? For those of you who don't know, Dante is my boyfriend, also his Dante's my boyfriend, also Jackson's dad. Yes, we both cried. We both definitely cried. Especially after the last time. We definitely, the minute we heard him cry, we were both, we cried. Natural or C-section? I had a natural delivery. Very lucky to be able to have natural delivery. I was a little scared to have a C-section, but got lucky and was able to have him naturally. Did you use an epidural or deliver med-free? I definitely had an epidural. I just didn't see the point to not have an epidural. Did you have a birth plan in place? If yes, did you get to follow it? If no, what changes were made? I actually didn't have a birth plan going into this delivery because of everything that happened last time. I didn't care how he came, as long as he was here, healthy, and doing well. So I didn't have a birth plan. Did your water break or were you induced? I was induced. I was due January 6th and I was supposed to be induced on, I was supposed to be induced on December 23rd, but I ended up getting induced on December 18th. But they ended up having to keep me in the hospital because they were busy on the 18th with a bunch of, I ended up having to stay overnight on the 18th without getting induced because they had too many laboring moms and couldn't put me into labor. But definitely was induced, yeah. Where were you when labor started and how long did it last? Where was Dante? I was in the hospital when labor started because I was induced. He was with me, and luckily my labor from start to finish was only about 5 hours or so. So I got very lucky there. How long were you in the hospital for afterwards? So we had him on the 19th, and they keep you for 24 hours. And then he had jaundice, so he had to stay extra. They tested his levels and his levels were okay, but they were too close to the line, so they ended up keeping us an extra night. Then we were able to go home on the 21st, I believe. Maybe on the 20th, maybe the night of the 20th, we were able to go home. And then we came back to the hospital on the 21st we came back to the hospital on the 21st to have his levels checked. And they were still really close to the phototherapy line, so they decided to give him phototherapy anyways. So he had the phototherapy, probably a little less than 12 hours. Dante wasn't allowed to stay there, but I spent the night there with him. Then he had his levels tested the next morning. And when his levels were tested, they went down drastically. And then we were able to take him home, but we had to bring him back on Christmas to get his levels tested again, just in case they skyrocketed back up. So, he's smiling. Yeah, definitely longer than what we planned on staying, but he's fine. He's fine. He's healthy, so it's fine. Did they tell you that anything would be different about all of this due to COVID? So my OB actually didn't tell us anything about that. I guess I could have called the hospital, but we kind of just went there and hoped that they would let Dante stay. I knew some other people who had babies and their boyfriends were allowed to stay, so we were just really hopeful that he was allowed to, and then luckily, he was allowed to stay with me the whole time through everything. He was allowed to stay for the postpartum. He just wasn't allowed to stay for the pediatrics when we had to go back to get him his phototherapy. Did your OBGYN deliver or whoever was already there? So I actually went to my OB on the 18th for just a regular, OB appointment. And he sent me early compared to the 23rd because I was getting ultrasounds every single week because of everything that happened last time. They wanted to make sure that everything was going good this time. So I went on the 18th for my regular OB appointment, and he told me that the baby was measuring a little bit small, but nothing to be concerned about. But because I was 37 weeks, he was just gonna induce me that day. I went straight from my OBGYN appointment home, grabbed our hospital stuff, and right to the hospital. So he wasn't actually at the hospital to be able to deliver. I ended up going through 2 different OBs because they couldn't induce me the same day, so there was shift change, and like 4 different nurses because no one knew I was a patient there. What was your first meal after? Everyone always says they're so hungry, and I wasn't, so I'm nosy. I just had hospital food. When I had him at 4:04, so it was like dinner time, and we were just so in awe of him that I wasn't about to send Dante out to get food, and the Tim Hortons downstairs closed at 4 o'clock, and their cafeteria closed at the same time because of COVID. So I just had hospital dinner. Had you done anything to start labor? The whole eat spicy food, bounce in a ball, etc. No. I was very nervous to go into labor naturally because of everything that happened last time and not knowing why. Definitely didn't want to go naturally, especially since my first OB appointment I was told I was being induced. I definitely wanted to be monitored when I did go into labor. So no, I didn't try anything to induce my labor. Did they admit you as soon as you got there, or did you have to go back home to labor? They definitely admitted me. I was induced, and even though they were full, with me being a high-risk pregnancy due to the stillbirth that I had, they definitely induced me. They wanted me monitored even though I couldn't be laboring yet. So when I got there, they kept me in the ward for like 20 minutes maybe, and then I was put into a labor and delivery room for them to monitor me and the baby and then make sure that everything was good there. So yeah, I definitely didn't have to go back home to labor. They wanted me monitored. How is your postpartum recovery? It's actually been really good. I had very minimal bleeding. Everything, I didn't get stitches, didn't really tear. I had a really easy labor. It kind of sounds like I'm bragging, and I feel like an ass every time I say something about it, but yeah, I had a really good delivery, really good, easy postpartum recovery. So that's pretty much it for the questions I'm going to answer. I feel like the majority of those cover up everything that happened at the hospital. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you. Continue to your face. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video, which will most likely be tomorrow. I'm gonna try doing vlogs. Yeah, say bye. Bye. Bye guys.